Hello there folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where I discuss different topics like spirituality, deeper introspection, analysis of different ideas like games or dreams. And well, as usual, if you're some kind of designer or a very well-known designer or developer and you're looking for opinions and points of view on your creations, feel free to send me a link. Feel free to ask me questions, and if it's up to my capacity, I will provide an answer through at least one video. The video today, this video will have the topic of a panic that has been raging around, which is called the 3 days of darkness. I came across this topic thanks to one of Ralph Smart's video streams, and well, it feels a bit unfounded, but so many people keep talking about this construct, which I believe it's a hoax. It's called the law of attraction, and if it is really true, then the point is, if people fear these 3 days of darkness that much, then what they are doing, instead of distracting themselves or not thinking about this, they're actually calling those 3 days of darkness into their reality through their fears. But I can't function in reasons, because reasons only belong to the mind and logics, and I'm kind of well beyond that. The point is that I simply cannot believe in this idea of law of attraction and such logics, and even if it would exist, it most likely is overused and overestimated, just because some people are desperate to make money from others, and irrespective of how much money they make, it's still never gonna be enough. That is why there are so many of these so-called fake gurus that, they always tell you that they make a lot of money. They always sell you all sorts of meditations. Why would I need to actually buy someone's meditation? Can't I just go in a park and, just sit there for 5 minutes? It's gonna be too much better than just someone's, meditation. Of course, everyone uses stupid questions just to make you feel bad, like why wouldn't you give some dollars to some poor designer? But that is not a poor designer, okay? They're not a simple music designer, okay? They call themselves a meditation designer, which is completely different. It is a different mechanic. I usually break things down to the minutest of details. And someone who creates meditations, well, be my guest, create whatever you want, but don't oblige me with all sorts of quotes and questions that why wouldn't I feel inclined to pay someone for their meditation? Because I don't feel inclined. As the person wielding the money, I choose where to spend it. I've spent a lot of money on my self-improvement, and I know for sure that someone's meditation will not help me much. It's just a little circus that I'm doing in my mind, and the reason why you feel better is because you're finally doing something different than what you're currently doing. You're feeling stressed and you're feeling down because you're doing things that are not serving you. Worse than that, you're doing those again and again. When you change those things, at least for a bit, even through a meditation, you will feel different because you're finally doing something that is no longer putting you down. And of course, the mind has thousands of layers, each of them capable of screwing over you, screwing you over in so many ways. And well, that's kind of how things goes, okay? With the mind, you'll always have a lot of problems and a lot of questions that will pop up. So this point is this aspect of the 3 days of darkness something to be feared of? Well, there will be a lot of people that will die if something like this happens. There are quotes that say, people that say that the elites are interested in shutting down, the electrical power for 3 days and the internet just as a as a ritual, to feed themselves off of the pain of people and insecurities and something like that. Honestly, if you really have the power to shut down the light across the globe for 3 days, well, you will actually help a bit nature, because so many processes will be shut down. Basically, industry will be shut down. But at the same time, it's the easiest genocide to do. Think of all the people, who are working, and they are working on cranes at high altitudes, and suddenly they get stuck in there, with no one capable of helping them, right? And what else? Well, think about people who are definitely in hospitals, okay, bound to machines. Those are definitely certain to die. Anyone suffering of chronic diseases in hospital, most likely they will die, because, well, if you're bound to machines like dialysis or breathing operations and such, or someone who's in a surgery, well, with machines and electrical currents suddenly going down, well, I don't know if that person will make it, and all those people will make it. It's one sure way to make an easy peasy genocide, because, well, if you have so much power, that's it. What I feel some of these fuckers are doing is they're just paying some of the huge karmic debt that humanity has acquired, but also is highly acquiring, because if you think that you can live in peace by slaughtering billions of animals just for our, food, well, if you think you will live in peace by doing that, well, we're not living in the same reality. Now, should these 3 days of darkness, actually this ritual or whatever, okay, these were written, if I remember, in the Bible, and they are said to be the prerequisite of the end of the world. Now, of course, many people will go paranoia, but I can't stand aside from breaking something down to the minutest of details. So the point is very simple. What end of the world are they actually saying? Because everything says that every religion that says there is an end of the world presents more or less a death of this planet. This planet is not gonna die. Life in this planet will most likely go on and on. It's not gonna be a problem. The most that will suffer is, advanced life forms, which, of course, so as I was speaking, the point about life in general is the more advanced it is, it will suffer the more because of pollution and environmental, climate changes. Now, with the so-called 3 days of darkness, the point is the Bible specifies they are the prerequisite of the world's end. Now, the world itself won't end, most likely the world as a society, because, well, jobs are shutting down, businesses are failing, and an economical collapse is considered to be not far away from us. So, if we were to take such apocalyptical details, now, the end of the world basically means the end of the world as we have been knowing it, because there have been people, Shakespeare included, who said the world is a whole stage and we are just actors. So, when people realize that it is high time, there will be a time in which the spectacle needs to end, and people start actually living a life, not just lies and illusions and all sorts of gibberish that they have been creating and promoting in their own minds. Well, that's kind of the end of the world that we are speaking. Okay, it's the end of the world for the mind and for the aspect of control, because so many people believe that they know the world just through the prism of their mind, or better said, the prison of their mind. But the mind is only represented by 3 chakras in our physical body, which is represented by 114 chakras. So if you're saying that you're understanding the complexity of and vastness of life through only 3 chakras, well, you're probably not gonna end up with 2 correct opinions and 2 correct ideas. Okay, so should these 3 days of darkness be feared? Well, if there are some folks in this world, okay, that cling to the old world so desperately, and they want this aspect of control to continue forever, right? And use the idea of religions and societal structures just to control the population, and also they use dynasties, right, so that they can reincarnate and rule the planet again and again and again. Well, just let these folks die with their old world, okay? Because the old world has perished, okay? The ship is sinking, but these folks are still trying to steer it away, okay? Let them sink with their own ship. You don't need to mind over other people's business, okay? That is, if these are anyway humans or whatever. But the point is, if anyone clings to the old world as is, okay, most likely they are very ill, okay? There is no sense of aligning yourself with a profoundly sick society, because that means you're also sick. And if you are sick, well, most likely you should sink down with that ship, okay? The ship has sunk, okay? It is sunken already, okay? Well, not fully, but society as a whole, the so-called matrix, is going down, okay? Irrespective of how many, efforts certain folks are doing, okay? There are folks who simply lack any compassion towards living beings, and their only point of existence is to pay their karmic debt, but that even at tremendous life costs. Well, they have to understand that even they bend to certain rules. So irrespective of how twisted, even more twisted they become just because of desperation, there is an end to everything. So it's no one's point to simply judge. They will be countered by their own events, okay? Because the more you worry about certain things, the more you draw those into your own life. You should realize this, because everything in this life functions by the principle of fear and worrying, because these are very two powerful attractors. These are powerful attractors who simply, people are taught to live in those, okay? Fear and worrying are very powerful attractors because people can easily get stuck into those, and imagination easily goes haywire when fed with those, okay? And you put out emotions and you put out images, and then you wonder why the so-called law of attraction or whatever more complex principle works, okay, and draws you that. Well, in a way, what you kind of put out, you also draw, because you attune yourself to a certain vibration, okay? I can't call it the law of attraction because, law sounds more like expectation. When you call it the law of attraction, it smells and stinks of 3D mentality and, expectation and exploit, okay? This is not something that I'm interested in, okay? This is definitely something that I dislike. So, should these 3 days of darkness be feared? Well, up till now with this lockdown and everything that is happening on the planet, the only thing that you should have learned is the fact that becoming introspective is kind of the only way around, because when everything outside fails, the only way to go is inside. The further the better, because the more introspective you become, the more aware you become of your own self and your own power. Then nothing else can actually move you anymore. So once that happens, you're simply unshaken by whatever happens, okay? You will simply realize that nationalities and societal concepts are irrelevant. So if society goes to hell, why would you follow it, okay? If some people want to die with the sinking ship, that is their programming, okay? You have to understand that some folks have spent hundreds if not thousands of years to program your forefathers, to program you in turn, so that you would program others, okay, to think in certain ways, okay? Now if these robotic people want to die with a sinking ship, it's none of your business. It is their conscious choice. They will probably do whatever possible to draw your attention, but if you are simply unshaken in your beliefs and you are doing whatever you like and enjoying life as is, those things and those people will weed themselves out for you. One thing I saw is that this is how the universe works. So, should you fear these 3 days of darkness? I cannot. I cannot simply do that because, they are just another moment in life, okay? It's just a period in which everything will be useless. Because the only difference in between Stone Age and what we are now is our technology. Without any electrical power, there is basically, no more technology means, well, no more advanced situations. So just because the Bible says something, you shouldn't actually believe everything which is written in a book, because that book has been edited numerous times, and of course a lot of things that some people didn't like, a lot of those things have been, removed because they couldn't have been let in there. So all this being said, well, hopefully you liked this short video. You are loved and appreciated. Keep becoming more introspective, and don't let yourself distracted by all sorts of things and gibberish. Whatever comes, just stay awesome and, keep believing in yourself. Things will get sorted one way or another, and, well, even if it is getting worse and worse on the planet, well, we will get through. Humanity will survive, irrespective of what has happened. Far worse things have happened and humanity has gone through. Well, 1720, a great pandemic, the Black Plague. 1820, another pandemic. 1920, another pandemic. Guess what? 2020, it's a different pandemic. If you don't believe me, do your research and see. Every 100 years there is a cycle in which people must die. For the pleasure of some non-biological beings, demons or whatever, or just as a means of, paying karmic debt so that it doesn't become much worse. Well, whatever be, that is. So this is beyond most people's comprehension. So that is one point. Let people do what they want to do, okay? If you reside in your own awesomeness, no one can move you, because that is the point of distractions and everything that exists in this world. The more distractions you commit yourself to, the more riches you have, the more slave you are, because the more attachments you have manifested in your life. So if all technology suddenly goes, why would this be your loss? If you're not obsessed with social media, with the internet, with computers and technology, well, your job and such, yes, but, well, think about it. If the end of the world would truly come, well, we are the ones who have VIP tickets, okay? We can prance about this in, the eternity of the afterlife, right? We've actually seen the end of the world as is. So, all this being said, you are loved and appreciated. Take care of yourselves. Do not get easily distracted. Do not get distracted because, well, distractions are only a way of, moving you away from the awesomeness that you are. Stay awesome, okay? Stay safe, stay blessed. You are loved and appreciated. Ferenc on board, signing out.